Welcome back, everybody. This is TAETRO. Today, what if I told you that instead of just downloading loops from these libraries online and having to go into your DAW and transpose them and mess with them, mangle them in ways that make them not sound quite right, what if I told you that there was a site and a platform where you could customize your loops before downloading them, change the chord progression, change what even happens within the loop, make them sound actually natural. Today, we're going to be doing that. We're going to be creating our own loops with SessionLoops. Thank you to SessionLoops for sponsoring today's video, and I think you're actually really going to like it. There are a bunch of really cool things about SessionLoops, not only in the ways that we can make our own custom loops, but also in the ways that you can share them and get rewarded for them. I want to share that with you for sure, because that's a really cool idea. And I'm going to demonstrate to you exactly how we can create our own custom loops. But right now, let's jump in and let me just play you what some of these packs on the site sound like. A lot of very cool guitar sounds on the site. Okay, so that's dope. Right off the bat, we're hearing vocal and guitar. All the layers, of course, we're going to be able to mess with and use for our own loops. So remember that. Let's try In Full Bloom, pop indie. Very funky, very funky. All right, how about Mask Off? Quite moody. All right, I love all these sounds so far, but the one thing I want to say is we're going to make loops with SessionLoops, but then bring them into the DAW and hopefully make like a cool lo-fi chill hop track that is the kind of track that I love making. But you can hear right off the bat that there are a lot of different genres you can probably create here on the site. Let's jump into this Nylon Dreams pack. And I'm drawn to this pack because I think it has some very cool like acoustic guitar loops in it. Nice. And what I'll say is, as somebody who plays and has an acoustic guitar, recording acoustic guitar is, first of all, not easy to get it to sound good. And second of all, I'm kind of like an amateur guitar player, self-taught. So my skill level only goes so high. It would take me a while to play some of these more advanced chord progressions, the ones that we're going to be crafting today with SessionLoops. So if you're a guitar player, but you don't quite have the skill to make the music in the loops that you want to make, or even if you don't have a guitar, this is an exciting prospect here. So I just played you like a pre-made loop on the site, and you can see right here this list of loops. We've got key, we've got BPM. It outlines the chord progressions for us. And that is going to be important when we start crafting our own new loop. Let's do that right away here. New loop. And this is where the magic happens. So on the right here, we have basically a library to pull from of different one-shots and loops. Very nice. And then just like a nice, simple arpeggio. Let's mess with that to keep things simple at first. We can click and drag these in to our little 4-bar timeline here. And you might have said like, oh, all these sound like they're based around the same chord. It doesn't sound like they're progressions. Well, we can change that. You'll notice that we can change the quality of each of these little loops and one-shots that we put in. It gives us a array of chords that are in the key, so chords that we actually want to use. And you hear the quality of those chords changing. It's not simply transposing the sample. You're essentially choosing from a much bigger library of all these different chords recorded in different ways. And from within that, we can change the extensions. I love that. We're going to use that for sure. Let's do this F major 7 with the 9th and 13th on top. And let's just make a very, very simple 4-bar loop here to start. You see I'm holding options and just copying that over. We obviously don't want the same chord one after the other. Let's go ahead and play a 5 chord, but make it more interesting. Let's go to 2. And let's go back to 5. By the way, I'm calling these by their Roman numeral names if you didn't pick that up. good. And you notice the quality of this 5 chord is different from this 5 chord. Let's see how this flows. And actually, really quick, let's demonstrate this tempo adjustment here. Let's bump it up to maybe like 95 just for now. Cool. So that's a very, very simple chord progression, but you can see that we can take each of these loops in one shots and we have a lot of power to control them, but we actually have more power. We can change the position, and what the position is actually where the guitar player is playing these. So if we go to mid or high, we're playing higher up on the guitar. And just like with the chords, it's not like we're just transposing the sample. If I downloaded a loop or guitar sample from somewhere else and I threw it in my DAW, my only options are to like warp it and transpose it. And that's not gonna sound like somebody actually playing that chord in a higher range. So this is actually very helpful. I think we can definitely make this more interesting. So let's go ahead and shorten the first chord, and maybe we can even make this just like a faster progression in general. So I'm just moving around these loops. I can shrink them, maybe something like that, like a more straight up arpeggiated strummed out chord. And let's switch it to the higher register so it matches. And that obviously has 2 halves to it, but I can get rid of that second half if I want to. Good, yeah, I'm just gonna put that right on the halfway mark of the bar. And let's change that chord again. Yes, okay, let's listen to those 2 bars. And let's repeat that again. Let's do a long pluck followed by a short pluck. And from the beginning. That's fun. Like, we can create something really cool and bouncy. Another thing that I noticed is these are played a bit softly, and those are played a little bit like harder. So they're coming across a bit louder, but we can change the gain of these. So maybe if we lowered those plucks by, say, 2 dB each, it will just help it match a bit better. Let's also look at the effects here. So we can do combinations of effects. You see we have like echo, chorus, cloud. What is echo, ocean? This is going to have delay. That's cool. It almost has like a tape effect to it because of that delay on there. But there's also single effects. So if you wanted to say just add a chorus or just add some reverb. Oh, rotary. What does that sound like? So all of these things coming together, whether it's adding effects or changing the actual chord progression, combining the samples in different ways, is helping us make our own unique sound from a loop. And I know that a lot of times people are striving to do that. Loops can be very useful. We talk about that all the time. But making them sound like your own and actually carefully crafting them like this makes them even more original. Awesome. I want to also demonstrate that we can switch this key up on a dime. So let me go ahead and just switch it to the key of F. And I'm actually going to go no effects because I really like just the straight up sound of the acoustic guitar. But you notice when I transposed it, once again, it's not simply warping the sounds like we would in a DAW. It's actually somebody has played these grooves, these loops in the different registers, in the different keys, so you have access to all of that. So from here now, I can actually change this name. Let's just call it Bouncy Acoustic Guitar. And I can add it, I can download and add it actually to my library. And then right in my library, I get all of the different loops that I've created, their key information, and then I can also go back in and edit. So I created this loop earlier. But I'd like to be able to use them in the same song. So I want to do 2 things. I want to keep the key of F, but I want to lower that BPM. So let me quickly go into this loop, and I want to go ahead and transpose this to the key of F. And so it matches the other sound. Let me go ahead and reset the effects. And let me also take all these clips and put them in the higher register. And this is just happening fast. And it's also happening in my web browser. I don't know if I made that clear. We haven't even touched the DAW yet. And we can download and save that as well. So not only is it saving it to our library, which we can access from anywhere we have our account, we're also able to download this. Let me go ahead and change the BPM of that last one that we created so that it matches. And we could potentially use both of these loops in a track. Let's bring that down to 72. All right, so this works all off of credits. And there are different plans starting at $5.99 per month. You get 75 credits with that. But also there's a 14-day free trial so that you can check it out and try it out before you actually start your plan. There's also a cool way that you can earn credits from your loops by sharing them. So really quick, I'm actually going to do this as soon as this video drops, and you can all go to my Twitter and download it and flip it and share it on your social media. I would love to hear how you flip the sample. But if I go to that share button on my loops, you'll see I get a unique link. And then it says for every one stream, you get 1 credit, and you get up to 15 credits per month. So if you're just making loops in your studio all day and you love session loops, you can start sharing those loops with the community. People download them, and then you get more credits to create more loops. Cool, so I downloaded those samples. Let's open them up in Ableton Live and start making a beat with them. All right, so obviously we saw from the SessionLoops site, we just downloaded our samples as waves, and I've just loaded them into Ableton Live. I threw in a little perk loop from one of my own sample packs, just to give us a little sense of rhythm. And now I'm ready to start making a beat, I think. So now I've got this custom chord progression, this custom sample, this custom loop that I made on my own from these pre-existing really high quality recordings that I can now build a track off of. The other thing that I want to say is really, really useful is if we look back at our loops, and let's just go to the editor for this one. I'm not going to edit it, but we can actually see the notes and everything that's being played from the quality of the chord. What I'm really interested in is the fact that I can just look at those root notes, B flat, C to F, back to C. Because now I can super easily craft my bass line. Lay these ones longer. So no problems there. The SessionLoops interface is actually helping me craft the rest of the track in giving me all that information so that I can very easily craft a bass line. One last thing, we only worked with some of those loops in one shots, but I also want to point out, let me get out of that loop, is that there are licks and riffs. You heard me right, folks, licks and riffs. Oh, and I just had a thought. We can interchange these. Okay, I'm happy with that lick. Let's download that. Let's drag it into the DAW. And if this is not the beginning of a beat that you can drink your Sunday morning coffee to, then I don't know what is. And don't forget, check my Twitter because I am going to be sharing one of these samples on my social media for you all to go and flip. And by doing that, if you all download it, I will get credits. And you can do that too when you start crafting loops. So take advantage of the free trial, as well as being able to craft your own loops with SessionLoops. Thank you again, SessionLoops, for sponsoring today's video. I hope you all enjoy. Let me know what you thought of this process in this video in the comments down below. Leave a like on your way out. If you want to support the channel, click that join button. But of course, subscribing and turning on notifications is a completely free way to support this channel. That's going to be it. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been TAETRO. Enjoy your coffee and have a good one.